Now, I'm going to outline one of the most damaging decisions the Trudeau government has made since the beginning of its reign. In recent months, we have seen for ourselves the corruption of this government in the We Charity scandal. This scandal has shown us that the Trudeau family and their Liberal friends have no scruples when it comes to money. They accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars and took expensive trips paid for by a foundation that didn't even pay their speakers. This scandal was so big that even the Minister of Finance had to resign because he too accepted bribes from the We Charity. It must truly have been unacceptable if the only MP qualified to be finance minister had to resign. Now, of course, this kind of behavior on the part of our democratically elected leaders is absolutely unacceptable, especially given that this is not the first time, honourable colleagues, but the third time that Justin Trudeau has been unable or unwilling to recognize a conflict of interest when it is to his advantage. What is even more disgraceful is that all those bribes that We Charity gave to the mother, the brother, the wife, and the Prime Minister himself clearly worked. After Justin Trudeau's family was handsomely paid for volunteering, it was now the Canadian Prime Minister's turn to return the favour to his friends, the Kielburger brothers. And he therefore unilaterally decided, without a call for proposals, and I'll say that again, without a call for proposals, to award the contract for the administration of $900 million in Canada Student Volunteer Grants, without even considering the public service, which, according to several reports, would have been able to handle the program itself. So it pays to have Justin Trudeau as a friend, because We Charity was to receive $43.5 million to distribute these grants. Everything I've just told you is simply unacceptable, but our handsome Prime Minister was able to go even further in his contempt for Canadian taxpayers.
Mr. Speaker, we obviously have our privileges in this chamber to express ourselves as we see fit. I exercise that privilege. I would like to respond to Senator Lankin. I've had the integrity and the decency to go above and beyond that, because I've actually, the claims I've made in my speech today, under my privilege and immunity as a parliamentarian, I've made on social media, I've made on the public, I made those declarations public. I've encouraged the Prime Minister, if he wants to take actions against me in dealing with those declarations, he has the freedom to do so, and I'd be more than happy to see him in a court of law and cross-examine him there in a court of law. I stand by my statement. I believe that the We Charity gave a payment to his mom, to his mother, to his brother, to his wife at various times, and in exchange, in a complete conflict of interest and breach of the criminal code, months later there was an exchange of government grants and funds, and now this Prime Minister has done this on a number of occasions. I called him out when he took 2 luxury trips at the Aga Khan Island, and a few months later the foundation of the Aga Khan received tens of millions of dollars in decisions that were taken by the Cabinet where the Prime Minister did not excuse himself when he was in a clear conflict of interest. So everything I've expressed in this chamber just now, I have done publicly, I stand by, and I'd be more than happy to face the consequences because I've had the courage to make those claims out in the public field. Nothing in the language that I used in the speech or since the speech when I rose to speak on the point of order that is unparliamentary. There's not a single word that I used in my speech that over the years that I've been following very, very carefully procedures in the House of Commons, in the Senate, and other Westminster parliamentary bodies, that a speaker would call that language unparliamentary. I was making reference to a code of ethics which all parliamentarians are expected to abide by. I made reference to criminal code that we make laws in this country and we expect them to be applied regardless to who they should apply to. We have the right and privilege to express ourselves freely, freedom of expression, under our parliamentary privilege. I had under no circumstances used taxing language as is recognized historically by speakers in this chamber. But no one will take away the right of any parliamentarian to call out in the public arena members of the executive that we feel have breached the code of ethics, which this Prime Minister has done on 3 confirmed occasions and is still being investigated by the ethics officer. And for that matter, my understanding is the RCMP made declarations a few weeks ago that they themselves are investigating and looking into the We Charities. So at the end of the day, we have the right as parliamentarians to make sure that our criminal code that we've put together, that our code of ethics that we've put together is respected, and we are allowed to freely express ourselves. Now, when parliamentarians might have a political vested interest and they get up to defend a member of the executive branch who they don't want to face criticism under the guise of a point of order because you feel my language or my questions were too pointed, I have the right to do so, and no one has the right to take that away from me. And I just simply responded, Senator Lankin, that I've done it in the public arena as well. It's not as if I've been a coward, and I'm doing it under my parliamentary privilege, which I clearly have. Thank you, colleagues.